So I've started off with my cut cardstock, which is 6 inches by 4.5 inches. So they're the two covers, that's the front and that's the back, and then the spine is 6 inches by 1.5 inches. I've stuck these down on a piece of cardstock, which is going to be my cover, and I've already put the tape. I've used red tape rather than glue, as I think it's a bit easier to work with. I've mitered my corners, and it's getting this angle right is quite difficult at times, but you'll just take it a bit at a time and you should be able to get that right. Don't cut in too tight. As you need to be able to sort of bend the cardstock over. Now I start with the top. I'll take this off. And bend it over, and I start from the middle. And then make sure that's stuck down like that. And turn it over and do the same on the bottom. I generally do the long edges first. I find that a little bit easier. Okay. So that gives you quite a nice neat edge. And then I'll put the tape on the sides. Catching those edges in. Now before you start this, you need to pull the cardstock up and just make sure that you've got your miters are right, because then if it's not right, it gives you an opportunity to mess around with it and get it right. That's looking pretty good actually. I'll stick that down there. And then again, the other side. Yes, I'm happy with that. If you feel you've got a bit too much, you can always just put your thumb in there rather than cutting it, and that should give you a neat edge. And that's your boards covered. Now, rather than just bending it up, you need to use a bone folder to help guide that, because otherwise you'll crease the paper in the wrong place. When I put this middle spine down, I just left a gap which is about the same thickness as 2 pieces of the card. So don't make that too tight. And that gives you the basis of your book. Right, for the inside, I've cut a piece of paper that will actually fit right across the whole area of the covers. You could take it right out to the edges if you want, or give yourself a little border. This just happened to be a piece cut that size, so I've left it at that, but it looks quite neat. Now for this piece I do use glue instead of tape, because I find the tape sometimes just gets too stuck and you can't maneuver it around a bit. You need a little bit of flexibility at this stage. So I'm putting it right around the edges of my inside cover. Any glue will do, PVA, or this is Cosmic Shimmer. Okay, and then I'll put some on the board as well. I'll try not to stick your book to it. And then just lay see what I mean? It gives you just a little bit of maneuverability to move it around a little bit. and then you can give that a really good press down. And if you get some ink coming through the edges, I find cotton buds are really good for that. It helps keep the edges quite neat. You could always finish off with a bone folder around the edges. Take that little bit of glue there, just especially in the corners where you want a good fin. And in there. Now you need to wait for that to dry until you bend it up, and it's the same way you would bend up with your bone folder, very, very carefully, but leave that to dry. I've also made a couple of pockets. I had this is Stamperia paper, and it has some nice, really nice borders. So I've just cut a couple of pieces to size. I think they'll make quite nice little pockets in the outside covers of the book. Probably could really do with waiting for the glue to dry before doing this, but you're used to doing that type of thing, and then that can go on the other. And it's something that we do a lot in books. It's just a cutting a strip, or you could cut a little hole out like we've done before. We're all used to making little pockets and things, so I'm sure you can come up with lots of different ideas. For my signatures, I've cut some paper, 8 inches by 5 3/4 inches, which I've then folded in half. So you've got your 4 inches and 5 3/4 inches on the spine. I've cut a selection of paper. I've used tea-dyed paper and some nice quality writing paper. These pads were from Shetland Times. They're quite really lovely quality for writing on, and you'll get two lots of 2 out of 1 A4 piece if you want to take it out as a sheet. That pad was £2.25, and it really gives you plenty of paper. Some cartridge paper is quite nice as well, another one I got from Shetland Times. So it's just nice to have something really nice to write on. So once I've cut them out, I then made one with slightly heavier card, which I've made as a cover, and use these Stamperia tags front and back, which makes it look very Christmassy. And what I always do is have something in the middle, so that when I put these into my book, you don't see the knot there. So this will close like that over any knots that I've got in there, and just finishes it off. I've made 3 signatures. That's one, and that's the second one. I've made in exactly the same way, and this is the third one I thought I would put in the middle. Now this is like a little wallet book. So I've taken my cardstock was 12 inches by 5 3/4 inches, and I've scored it at 8 inches. Sorry, 4 inches, and then 8 inches, and then 8 1/4, just to give a little spine there, so that when you fold that over, it just fits the paper. Now, there's only so much paper I can put in that, so I've decided to sew that one up already. So I've just used some cotton and some simple two big stitches, just to sew that signature together. And then you can see how that then closes over that knot there, but I'm not going to stick it down yet, because I'll just do that when it goes into the book to cover the elastic. I've left the others free at the moment, because I might want to add a little bit more paper. I don't know, we'll see at the time, but those 3 fit very nicely into your book. So when all your glue has dried on your cover, I've added elastic. I've got this thin elastic, which I think you can get some from Home Furnishings. I did see some in there the other day, but it's quite thin, but you could use ribbon if you want, or cotton, or string, or anything. The elastic's quite good because it just gives you a little bit of manoeuvrability to get your signatures in. I've gone for 3 signatures. and I've covered them on the back by just putting in a piece of lace. I've stuck that down very well, and then I've dyed some ribbon. Now I thought it would be quite good to dye some red and green ribbon. I might redo this because it's not necessarily as nice as I thought it was going to come out. And then you can tie a nice edge to your spine. You could do this with ordinary ribbon or Christmas ribbon. Adds so many different ideas. Try and tie that quickly. Oh, come on. There you go. I think I might redo that ribbon so it's a bit nice and red. And then I've made, I found some little bits and pieces to hang on the side there, which I think will look pretty. Now at this stage I'm not going to decorate the front cover, although I've got something already to go on there, and I think I'll just wait and see if I need a ribbon or a clasp or something there to hold it all down. The book itself might get a little bit fat, so I'll just wait and see, and that gives me some options, but at least I've got the start of the front cover. And so when you've got your elastic stuck down, you can actually put your signatures in, and you can see here what I mean about actually folding that over when you've finished your book. I'd probably stitch these signatures once I finish them, but as I say, I just wanted to leave it open in case I needed a little bit more paper to put in. And it's sometimes easier to take them out and work and write in them before they're actually glued in permanently. So there's my middle one, and then finally, this is my last one to go in. And I've got my pockets here a bit more, and that goes on the front. That's what it would look like. The book I've just shown you is based on the book we made last year at Gulberwick. So if you've got a bind it all, you might want to recreate what we did there. And we had a flap here in the front, and this was a bind it all booklet that just slipped into the back of the book, and that's an option too, which you might want to sort of think about for your Christmas journal. Also, if you've got anything left over, these little books are quite good, and they would sit nicely as well in the Christmas book we've just made. Just think of any little bit that you've got that you could use. It all adds a little bit of interest. If you've got Eileen Hull's dies, the pocket book is a nice size, and here I've made a proper stitched signature to go inside, but it is quite a little bit tiny. But if you just want something small to work on, that's a nice size if you've got the die. This is her pocket notebook die, and I've made this one in the same way as that I've just made the Christmas journal with the elastics. And you can see how when it's all in together, you really do get not so obvious with all the elastics. It does become quite a nice book when it starts getting filled out, and you can't see where you've actually put the elastic. This has been covered with calico. I was in Home Furnishings yesterday, and they have some really lovely Christmas fabric, so you could actually cover your front of your journal with Christmas fabric, which would be really nice. And the same pocket notebook journal of Eileen's is also very nice to make up as a proper book with sewn signatures, which is what I did here. And it's always good to have little flaps. This is the one I took to Phoenix with me, and you can see if you stitch your signatures, you do get a really nice book. I'll give you a link to stitching signatures as well, just in case you'd like to have a go. So I hope that all gives you some ideas, and really look forward to seeing what you make.